another keynote speaker who is going to be coming up now. He's Dr. Michael Pinder, the general manager of Owerri Place. Owerri Place is in Port Harcourt. He's one of the most agile general managers I have met in a very long time. You can see what I mean, right? Yes. So we call up Dr. Pinder, who will take the floor for the next 35 minutes. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for him.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Sunday for inviting me to be a speaker. Almost the same jacket, but a different tie. Colleagues, we're in a time which the previous keynote speaker mentioned that we are going forward. Sitting in here is the leading hospitality people of the country and of the region. We have people from all over the place. It's our responsibility, as in ours, all of ours, is to make our industry progress. When I started in this industry, you've gone, am I dead? Okay. In the 1970s, the hotel I was in, I was the only English person out of 700 people. My people deemed it second class. British people deemed hospitality as something which doesn't succeed. Anybody can do it. Now, the 5 best chefs in the world are British. The leading general managers worldwide are British. Go to anywhere in Africa and you'll see a Nigerian. Go anywhere in Africa and you'll see a Nigerian general manager, food and beverage manager. I didn't do it. You did. The aim of performance manager is to see, let me see if this works. Is to see how we can endeavor to make our properties better. Our properties are owned by people, as I stated there. The owner's perspective. Why I went onto the internet, I went onto Google. I said, okay, why do people own hotels? Most people think people own hotels for one reason, the money. Now, anybody who owns a hotel knows that it's not an instant return on capital. It's not possible. It's an impossibility. I think the only hotel I think has been instantly successful was in Port Harcourt, when it was owned by Chief Wookie, and he had the only hotel. So he was booked by Total for years. We built a second and a third. And then, of course, the big brands start coming in, and so everybody's affected. These are what I found out from Google. To solve a problem and do it better than anyone else. These are facts all on Google. To pursue passion and purpose. You'll find a lot of hotel owners have a passion for hospitality. They want a hotel because they like good food, they like good service, they like the quality. To give back to the community and make an impact. Remember, every single person in this room who has a hotel, you employ people from the community, you employ fellow Nigerians. The last reason, the very last reason to have financial freedom. If you're an owner of a hotel, you're putting your hand in the pocket all the time. But you have to have something back. You don't buy a hotel for the fun of it. You don't buy a hotel to spend money which the hotel doesn't generate. We are here to understand from an owner's perspective as well as a staff perspective. Staff meaning senior management, junior management, and staff. That's what we're here for. As I put down there in red, which I'm sorry it can't be seen very well, what we need to understand is, would you own a business if it doesn't give return on your investment? I wouldn't. Would I buy a Ferrari with a mini engine? The answer is no. What you put in is what you get out. Performance management. Performance management, system that tracks the performance of its employees in a manner that is consistent and measurable. The system relies on combination of techniques, methodologies, how we do it. Will that fit with this? To ensure people across organization align and contribute to the objective of business. And the objective of business is to make money, the bottom line. My picture. Are we all rolling in the same direction? I think every single hotel in the world I've ever worked in always asks the same question. Are we rolling in the same direction? That is management and the owners. And there's a lady sitting over there, Madam Ebby. Her words are, you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Which is very, very, very true. When deciding on your KPIs, there are so many factors you have to remember. Is your team size big enough? If it's very big, how many KPIs are going to measure into it? If it's a very small hotel, what are the main areas of the KPIs you want to do? Key performance indicators are very, very, very important. Have you discussed it with the owners? Are they aware? If you want to put a KPI and you know that at the end of it there's an incentive, are the people who own the hotel aware of what you're doing? Is there consistent dialogue? Are you bringing your entire team along with you? Or are you just saying it to one or two people? Is everybody aware of what they're saying and what is going to happen? Make sure there's no hidden factors. For example, I know several hotels where the owners do all the purchasing. So there are some purchasing areas you can't control because the owners say, no, 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 you'll buy it from my brother's, mother's, cousin's, sister's father. And yes, you will pay this much money, even though you can get it cheaper up the road. That will affect what goes on in your own KPIs. Are you transparent at all times to everyone concerned? And this one, and I have two colleagues sitting at the back, please. Are you open to new ideas and methods? Is the owner's input realistic? There's two things on the bottom, and that lady over there, she's the one who taught me one of them. Never believe that an old dog can't learn new tricks. Now, I'm the old dog. I'm probably older than 90% of people in here, except Sunday, of course. Lose the attitude. We've tried, now, we go try this before now, it no work. Did you try it 5 years ago? Or did you try it 10 years ago? Or 15 years ago? There's no harm in retrying. You may have to tweak it. So tweak it. The aim is to fill your rooms. The aim is to have bottom line revenue. Now, I know with the owners I have, we have new owners in our hotel, and they are eager for the hotel to succeed. And what I've heard in the last 2 months is, no, 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 we're here to help you people. No, 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 we're here to help you. How can we help you succeed? What can we do to help you succeed? Let us tweak this. If you go to my hotel today, there's something called, I love it, tap, tap, tap. And it was taught to all my HODs, including myself, by one auditor who came in to help the hotel. And tap, tap means, he said, I have a bucket. The tap is not fully closed. It drips water. Every single time water drips, that's money running away. So what happens when the bucket's full? You're throwing away millions of naira. And it's a fantastic synergy. I will use it till the day I die. Tap, tap, tap. It is brilliant. But we're all open to learn new things. All of us sitting in this room. I know maybe 10% of the people in this room, and they know me well enough. I always say what I feel, and I'm transparent. Evaluating. Guys, you all know it. Bottom line is most important. So finance comes in with it. But if you go to a hotel and the service is poor, and the quality of food is poor, and the quality of cleaning is poor, and the quality at the reception, what do you want? Is poor. How many people will go back? I bet 90% of you will go to a hotel. As you walk away, you see that place, the receptionist. She's sitting down in the chair behind reception. What is she doing? Why is she not standing up? Why is she not greeting us? I always make sure I attend breakfast in my hotel, because the last thing my guests will experience is breakfast. The last thing, as they leave my hotel after they paid their bill, or just before they paid the bill, is breakfast. So it's the last thing they think about. It goes for every one of us. I've been blessed. I've worked worldwide. And every single person I've ever met says the same thing. Breakfast, breakfast, breakfast. The last thing that guest is, thank you very much, sir. Was everything all right? Politeness. Nigerians aren't exactly the most politest people in the world to my culture, because you're very short. Very, very short. But I've been here 12 years, so I now know the difference. So what I tend to do, especially with one Danish man I have, she's not being rude, she's actually being exceptionally polite. She's cutting you, she doesn't need to have a full conversation with you. She's saying, everything all right? Good, and walks away. But she's trying to do her job. We need to understand that. We're in your country. You're not in ours. So understanding and explaining cultures is a service you can provide for people. The requirements for these hotels have strategic management, accounting techniques, optimizing costs, value chain, and benchmarking. This has been rammed home for the last 2 months, and I believe I'm good at my job, but I've learned a lot in 2 months. But I'm proud enough to say, thank you, I've learned. The choice between market-orientated and sales-orientated business strategies to optimize your financial outcomes. Very important. Have a look what you've got, decide, and then bring everybody bring everybody along. Is there any way we can improve on this? Is there something we can bring in and maximize our revenues? Is there any way we can bring these in by maximizing our revenues, also appreciating our staff? Because hotel owners in this room, if you have no staff, you have no hotel. I've said this since the day I was at Owerri Place Hotel. I was there when they deflagged the hotel. 95% of the staff are still remaining there. They are Owerri Place Hotel. The bricks and mortar is not. It's a hotel. You can have the best hotel in the world. You can have a 7-star hotel. But if you don't have the service and you don't have the love from the staff, you won't achieve anything. Various KPI indicators can be used to access hotels, factors and investment. GoPar, RevPar, we've all heard of them. Most of us probably have something similar to Opera. But they are actually fantastic KPIs. GOP part at the moment is what I'm working on for myself. Because I have a chief financial officer who's finance. He wants to know how much. He wants to know why. So it's making me think more about my job and how I do my job. As it said here, the last not just above using RevPAR and ADR. Sales performance. As it states here, please understand, Air B2B is massive. Worldwide, there are still something like 40,000 hotels which have not reopened. In the UK, it's just over 5,000 hotels have not reopened after COVID. These are international branded hotels and solitary hotels. Madam, you'll go send it to you. Sandy will give it to you. You're more than welcome. Airbnb is so big. Okay, I have a house to rent. Bang. Look at Lakawa Lakes in Lagos. They have a championship golf course. They have 500 houses. People rent the houses. And they make a lot of money from it. That affects the local area on the hotels because people won't stay in the hotels. You need to understand, tourism in Nigeria is a little bit hit and miss. But if you've ever been to Benin, they have more tourism I've seen in anywhere else in Nigeria. Where I am in Port Harcourt, tourism's a bit iffy. They all come to Owerri. Everybody will come to Owerri for the weekend. What you need to understand is that COVID-19, whatever your beliefs on COVID-19, if it was or wasn't, has affected our industry worldwide, not just Nigeria. After COVID, we have now the Ukraine and Russian war. That's affected Nigeria more than COVID did because your wheat and all the other bits and pieces coming from Ukraine and Russia have stopped. China's going through a major recession. So things which you bring in from China now are costing you 4 times more money. That's why when you do your KPIs, you think, okay, what can we do? What can we get locally? What can we buy locally? What can we get made locally? When I was in one hotel here in Nigeria, we made baskets. Well, we didn't personally make baskets, but never mind. We made baskets for the bathrooms. To buy them from the UK was something like, and that's then, maybe 20,000 naira each. To buy them from China, nasty, horrible ones, 10,000 naira each. To make them about a mile up the road was less than 1,200 naira each. And they lasted for years and years. They looked beautiful. And it's something from Nigeria. Metrics such as revenue per available room, RevPAR, average daily rates, average occupancy rates, these are all fantastic KPIs. Because the people who have opera or something similar, like these people here on the right-hand side, you have something to measure against. Because everything must be measurable. And as Ebby's always said, can't measure it, can't improve it. If you measure it, you know where you can improve. And you can tweak things accordingly. Asset management is the latest massive thing in Nigeria. And it's worldwide. If you own a hotel and you spent 4 billion on the hotel, every single time you do an improvement, either increases the value or keeps the value to where it is. If you go to Europe, you buy the hotel, not just as the asset, you buy it for goodwill as well. So the goodwill business can sometimes be worth more than the actual asset itself. Saint-Pierre Hotel in Chepstow, I was there for 4 years, deputy GM. The hotel itself was worth less than 5 million. But the goodwill business was worth over 50 million pounds. And the reason they sold it is the owner died and his wife went, no. Hey, look, give me my money. I'll go sit down. When they sold it, they got 80 million pounds for it. But the asset itself was not worth much because the amount of money they needed to spend on it. Protect your asset. If you don't do preventive maintenance, if you don't look after your hotel, so if you've got a hole in the wall and you don't fill it, paint it. If you don't see, oh, I need to service my generators, they've done 250 hours. Oh, I need to do my ACs, I need to clean my filters. If you don't do preventive maintenance now and do it as a habit, as Belinda said, you know what, okay, you go break down, don't worry, I'll call engineer. So an engineer comes out, he cleans the filters. On a generator, he might change the oil, and then he says, oh, but you have a problem with your engine because you've cooked it, because you haven't got maintenance done on time. Preventative maintenance is so important for a hotel. If you don't have it and you leave it to the last minute, in the end, it's going to cost you more. And as GMs, as executive management, you want to go to your owner and say, sorry, sir, the AC no go work. Please, we meant to do it last month, but we forgot. As an owner of a business, I would rather somebody walk up to me and say, sir, next month we have to plan for this, this, and this, because if we don't, it will have a negative effect on the generator or the AC or the cookers in the kitchen or whatever area you need to do. It's very, very, very important. As it states here, overviews and detailed analysis of hotel business overall can yield useful information in revenue generation by different asset categories. How much room type bring in, how much profit the restaurant brings, is the spa worth having? A combination of operational and property knowledge allows the hotel asset managers to identify new streams of revenue. If you have a gymnasium and it's a state-of-the-art gymnasium and it costs you 50 million naira and you have nobody inside it, whoa. The stuff just stands there and rots. Look at what you have. Look at what you can use. Look at different, there's no such thing as, oh, I've run out of ideas. As Belinda said, we have 120 staff in our hotel. There's not one day you don't ask, well, what do you think? I can't do it on my own. Abby can't do it on her own. Even as a lead consultant, if you listen to the conversation, everything is an open question. Every single comment. Open question, open question, open question. So she's asking a question. It's not being dictatorial, it's actually asking. I am blessed with some very, very, very good staff. And I will say it till the day I die. And I will ask the question. I'm a great believer in saying, what do you think? If they tell me what they think, there's no such thing as a bad idea. So imagine setting up your KPIs and going to the HOD and saying, what do you think? I think it's a good one. Or can it be tweaked? Is it possible? I always wait. If somebody says, oh, yes, it's possible, I'm going to make it harder. Because you want something to push people. Everybody has a brain. The most intelligent Africans in Africa are Nigerians, by far. And trust me, I've worked in other countries. Assets can also better leverage strategic refurbishment products, considering acquisitions. If your property is worth the money because you're maximizing your revenues from all of your outlets, then it's worth going ahead. Lakawa Lakes, beautiful place. 5 food and beverage outlets. 5. Beautiful restaurant. Absolutely fantastic wine bar. They've got everything going for the 5 venues. Problem is they don't let any outside guests in. If you're outside, you cannot stay. You cannot go into there. Which means whoever's in that compound at that one day gets to check between 5, which means you can't increase your revenues. All they have to do is open the gate and let the revenue flow in. Service excellence is my biggest. My guests are important to me as they are to my guys at the back. I have the 2 gentlemen at the back there. Let me just embarrass them, Mr. Nelson and Mr. Johnson. I told you I'll get back. They have been in the hotel, come in at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. When the hotel is busy, we're waiting for guests to come in. They were there at 12 o'clock midnight, making sure the guests came in. That's service excellence. Our staff go one step further, as much as they possibly can. Are they perfect? Nobody's perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. Way from it. But service excellence will help your bottom line every time. Imagine doing a KPI. Would you do a KPI on guest feedback? Would you do a KPI on the average docket charge? How much in each cover are we doing? How many external guests are we doing? If we're doing more external guests, that means we're doing something right because people are coming in.
Yes.
These are all areas of KPIs you can focus on. There are so many. The ability to provide services consistently met and occasionally and even exceed customer expectations. If I have time, the second presentation I have states the 10 things which are the biggest things in hospitality for 2023. And one of them is service. A lot of hotels are focusing not only on rooms, but putting a lot of focus on food and beverage. Because 90% of the time, 1/3 of your budget is food and beverage. If you don't have a good restaurant, why would I stay in your hotel? Just for the room? Do I come in, check in, go to my room, and go out? Or would I come in, go to my room, come down, and have food? Service is exceptionally important. From the time the person walks up and the doors open to them for the car, to the time they leave and go home. It's so important. Providing service excellence is a challenge, and doing so consistently to a point where people seek to say thank you. We had one guest this morning, and this is this morning, about 7:30, I think. The guy got up and spoke to Johnson. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. It was great. That means that guest is coming back. And believe me, it's cheaper to have return business. Repeat business is a lot cheaper than going out there to finding new business. Even though you have to find the new business, it's actually cheaper because the guests become part of the family. We have one guest who says, no. Jim, Chief, I know better than you all. I've been coming here from inception. 20 years I've been coming here. I go tell you who's been here, and he will tell me. I have guests even come up to me and say, when I first started there, oh, if you want to know, just come and ask me. Like, eh? No. I know everybody here. They're my friends. And they're still coming to this day. Our new owner of our hotel loves our hotel. It's personal for him. It's in his heart. He saw the hotel being built. He knows virtually every single member of staff. He brought that hotel out of pure passion for the industry. And you can't ask for more than that. You can set up score reviews, do brand valuations. We do it. We have our GSS, guest services. In a lot of hotels, and I've got hundreds on my computer, you have little, did you enjoy the hotel? How was your room? How was your service? You have normally upset, medium, and smiley faces. Or you have good, medium, bad, whatever, which ones you want. They're important. You have TripAdvisor, Booking.com. As much as you've got to be careful with some of them, it's important to get feedback from all of them. Because a guest can say to you, oh, everything was fine, and walk out the door and say to his driver, if you take me back there again, I'll go fire you. And I've heard it. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's very, very, very important. Health and safety. We all know that during COVID, everybody, every man is dog, tried to reopen our hotel. We were blessed. Gentleman at the back brought in a company. We sat there and discussed God knows how many times, and we managed to get a corporate booking. It wasn't the fact of just bringing the corporate booking in. They had prerequisites. So I'm very proud to say all of the staff in the hotel exceeded the prerequisite. We actually submitted our health and safety and everything else to the WHO, and they gave us an award. We got an award for it. As it says here, respective regulations have become more stringent and guest expectation far higher. Far, 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 far higher. The number one for COVID-19 for health and safety was the Hilton. Hilton won every single award known to man. Four Seasons tried, Accor tried, but they sort of like failed. Intercontinental just closed the hotels down, and Marriott closed down close to 95% of the hotels, which was a shame. If you evaluate your performance in health and safety, your guests will come back. There are so many KPIs you can set up for health and safety. It's unbelievable. And it's all because of COVID. But the problem is, and I'm just as bad, is we should have been looking at this years upon years upon years ago. 90% of hotels worldwide, is the room clean? Yes, we check. We have our ABCs to check. But is it sanitized? There's a particular hotel in Lagos, and I can't tell you which one it is because I get really upset. The GM went from Port Harcourt to Lagos, and the GM got COVID from the hotel. He went there with mask, sanitizer. They closed his hotel down. He arrived in Lagos. This is fact. He arrived in Lagos, booked into the hotel, and 2 or 3 days later, his coughing spurting. He ended up in hospital for 4 days from the hotel. That was in Lagos. It was me, I was laughing. I was still sitting in Port Harcourt. I'm okay, Jack. And he said, no, I got this from this hotel in Lagos. And it was the same company he worked for. What we do with our hotels is our responsibility. If we're successful at what we do, the bottom line will always come. If we're diligent and professional at what we do, the bottom line will come. I'm lucky. I've got probably the best executive housekeeper in the country, by far. Madam Ebby, Joy is good. How good? Very, very, very good. Let me keep away from that speaker. We are lucky to have people like that, but our whole team are good. Our entire team care. Cleanliness, as they say, is next to godliness. Evaluating hotel performance not only in financial terms, but long-lasting success relies very much on your average matrix. The wider financial obligation to better reflect the hotel performance in order to succeed as a hotelier. Gain a comprehensive review of performance drivers. Understand how your hotel's performance stack up with the competition. I'm very proud to say some of you yesterday said, look, you're the best in Port Harcourt. Yeah, we know that. Our nearest competitors have gone down. We're going up in standards, and we strive to do better. Owerri has God knows how many hotels, and everybody in this room's hotel is better than anybody else's. But you'll have to prove it to your guests. If you're not filling your hotel consistently, especially on the peak times like weekends, Owerri is mainly weekends, have you? If you're full, but so is everybody else, don't pat yourself on the back. If you're full and everybody else is empty, then pat yourself on the back and say, look, I go try. It's important. Set your KPIs. Now, innovation. I'm very old. I'm ancient. I put Bluetooth locks in my hotel doors. They've not taken up on it, but they will do eventually, because it's something for the 21st century. You have to innovate. You cannot sit back and think, we did this 10 years ago, we can do it now. If you look at some business centers, which I've been to in the UK, 3D printing. Yes, you're going to pay for it, but I can do your 3D printing. You've got to foster internal management systems. You've got to say, who can tell me, how can we help each other succeed? What can I do is what you can do. Can you teach me something more? As I stated here, creating online brand communities, introducing new loyalty brands. Yes, some of these things will cost money. So you give it a go. Is it working for us? Long term, are we benefiting it from us? What's the feedback we're getting? What is our bottom line looking because we're doing X, Y, and Z? Some people even, yes, as I put right at the bottom, doing blockchain. Me personally, I don't even understand how to do it. Cryptocurrency is way over my head. I like to see the money in my hand. Introducing media and analyticals, business models, innovations. It's non-stop. Chatbot. I had no idea what chatbot was 6 months ago until my IT manager sat me down and said, "Oh, guy, somebody's talking to you." And, okay, what is their name? They don't have a name. It's a computer. How do they know me? Chatbots. Go on to any large corporate place and you will have chatbots. I did one with JMG yesterday. How can I help you? I just started, who are you? And they replied, it was great. I could have a 10-minute conversation with a computer. But imagine that's your reservation system. There's nobody in the office. They log on to your page. Up comes a chatbot. How can I help you? All the information is transmitted. All of it comes back to you. Be innovative. Don't sit there from last year. As I said on the bottom, current innovation trends in the hospital industry, including sustainable tourism and voice search. I do it all. In fact, I did it in the car. I wanted to ask a question, so I pressed Google, asked Google a question, and it came back with an answer. It's great. It doesn't stop what you people do, because you'll never replace that. You will never replace that person saying, you know what, sir, thank you so much. And it's coming from the heart. A computer can't do it. Ever-expanding lists, including facial recognition, check-in, mobile room keys, hotels' ability to keep up with the times, simplify must feature, have that X factor. There's a hotel which has 27 rooms in Abuja. This man's hotel is so 22nd century, it's unbelievable. You walk in, lights on. It's great. But when I ask the owner, so who's the person who's going to check me in? Oh, well, we've got a person there. So he's blending both, and he's very, very 21st century. While recognized distribution and innovation ahead of times can set us apart. Do you have a Zoom room? As everybody knows, working at home now is very, very, very common. My last owners, we had, our board of directors were for 2 years, 3 years? About 3 years. Zoom. Which was handy to me, because if they were going yap, 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 I'd just turn off my internet. But it's all down to Zoom. That is the last of my presentation. I will ask Mr. Sunday, Oga, Sunday, Sunday, Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and your patience.